Okay, Mac, I want to try something here.
All right.
Okay, so what I did was used AI to come up with commonly asked questions about AI. So I'm going to
Clever.
kind of read through these and let's just give our thoughts on these questions.
Okay.
All right, so first one is about ROI reality check. Question is, what's the biggest mistake we see companies making with AI investments?
Oh, man, that's a good one. I think it's expecting immediate ROI. I think when companies are investing, thousands of dollars in it, they want an immediate return on the P&L sheet, but it takes time. Just like
Just like
perfect
anything.
example. It's like an employee. When you hire an employee day one, are they going to be giving your company value? Probably not. There's time for onboarding, there's time for learning where the paper clips and pins are. That employee is going to be a burden to begin with. Just like with AI, it's going to be a burden. It's not going to give you ROI immediately.
Yeah, because AI it's gotta learn. I mean, that's what it does. It's gonna learn based on what you're feeding it,
Absolutely.
and so you got to give it time to learn. All right, the next question is about readiness assessment. So the question is, how can business leaders, excuse me, how can business leaders tell if their organization is actually ready for AI?
That's a great question. It mostly starts with your data. You got to define what you're trying to do with it. And then you got to make sure that it's properly siloed. If everything's still in 3-ring binders, well, you got to digitize it. Is it in a secure digital format? You got to move it into a secure format. And those are just a couple of,
It's,
quick
it's like
tips.
it's like building a building. Like you got to start with the foundation and work your way up. You can't build the roof first.
You got to start with the blueprint.
True.
Yeah, so you start with the blueprint of what you want to actually build. Then you can start building, and you start with the
That
foundation.
that makes a lot of sense. Makes perfect sense. All right. Next question about common scenarios. What does a typical failed AI implementation look like? That's a good one.
Nobody uses it. I mean, if a company implements an AI model, whether it's internal or customer facing, and then no one uses it because it returns garbage information or it just is not user friendly, I would consider that a failed implementation.
I think also if it is not helping, so if you're using it for Google,
Hmm.
then you're wasting. This is waste because that's not where AI was meant to act as like an assistant, not just a data lookup.
Absolutely.
Next question. Success factors. What separates the companies that succeed with AI from those that struggle? Follow a lot of along the same lines what we've talked about, I would think.
I think it's, again, adoption, kind of based on the last question. It comes down to if people start using the tool. It's one thing, like, let's take low hanging fruit. Let's just talk about Copilot, right? Organization talks about they're going to buy the licenses for everybody, and it's now integrated into their O365. Nobody uses it, for one reason or another. That was a wasted investment. You take that a step further and actually build out your own custom LLM. It's just like building software that nobody's going to use.
True, true, true. I agree 100% with that. Next question. And we're about halfway through the questions here. Investment protections. How can companies protect their AI investments from being wasted? I think I'm gonna start here. I think
Yeah, answer it.
based on what you were just kind of saying, you have to put some policies in place to ensure that your employees are using the resources that you've put there for them. Like you said, if they don't use them, it's worthless. And so you got to put some policies in place and make that part of your everyday processes to use this functionality.
I
That's
think
my
you said
thought.
it perfectly.
All right. Next question. Winning formula. What's the secret to AI success that most companies miss?
Doing too much too fast. Take it small, take it slow, take a take a process that's already established that someone does manually or a machine does manually, and then build in an AI automation. If your job flow is you get a work order ticket and you take that work order ticket and sit it on someone's desk, and then that person picks it up and then copies it over to another digital spreadsheet, and then they take that and upload it to the cloud. whatever, that right there. The easy way to implement that, create that document, scan it straight to a AI model. It can read that document, take off the information needed, input it into an Excel document, and upload it. So that manual process, which probably takes minutes or maybe even half a day, would then take seconds. And the first person did it, they wouldn't have to translate hands or anything like that. So
So
don't go big.
the process has, it doesn't matter how good the technology of the AI is if the process is not there to support it. So basically, I mean, we used to see the people with the internet all the time do this. You'll go buy a 100 gig circuit, and your
Yeah,
firewall only supports 50 gig. So like you're just wasting.
absolutely. Yeah, we still see that today.
Um, we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Biggest misconception. What's the most dangerous myth about AI implementation?
That you can just buy it. I mean,
I think,
that kind of
and
goes into some of the
yeah,
thought
well,
leaders is that you just let me go buy an AI. You got to build it.
and it's going to fix all my problems.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that we're finding out too is a lot of these companies that are talking about they're using AI today, there's actually still a very human process to what they're doing. It's not, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors.
And that's all I was going to say. I think that's a misconception. People, talk about the movie, I Robot and stuff
Yeah,
like that, where AI just takes over. AI, maybe the government or somebody has it to that point, but for companies that are using this, it has to be fed information. It's not just going to take off and do its own thing. I mean, would you even want it to do that at this point? You want to feed it information to make processes easier, not to do all the thinking for you. Because
absolutely.
if it does all the thinking, why do you need employees? Why does it need you?
Yeah, exactly.
Timing strategy is the next section. When is the best time for companies to start preparing for AI? I think this is a good one.
Yesterday. I mean, we're already at the stage now where it's being implemented without our action.
Hmm.
I mentioned Copilot. We've got Gemini, we've got Siri, we've got Cortana, we've got, all these little assistants that have been around for years, but now they're just starting to come baked into a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And so the biggest issue I see is companies not creating usage policies around them. If you don't even have a usage policy, we don't even need to talk about you building an LLM. You need to first start defining what your employees can use as tools before they start uploading sensitive data into these models.
Yeah, you get yourself in some trouble, potentially. Practical assessment is the next section. What questions should every CEO ask before investing in AI?
Oh man, the cheeky answer is how long can I keep my fingers out of it? Because that's the legit. It's like it
Well,
goes back to one of the previous questions about ROI. You're not going to see ROI day one, So just let the process work, let it do its thing, and wait till it's a fully baked solution before you start nitpicking. That's the cheeky answer. The
and
legit answer is, well, you got something?
well, I was going to say, I mean, it's what we've been doing with customers. You got to have a data readiness checklist, and you got a list of things that us and advisors like us will go through with these CEOs, and I guess it doesn't have to be a CEO, but to make sure that you have that foundation in place or some of these policies. Because if you have no policies on anything, like you're not ready for AI at all, and it's not impossible or hard to do. I meant to say not impossible. You just got to make sure you have some of this groundwork in place. Last question. Well, there's some bonus questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to go through those, but last question. Market opportunity. Why should business leaders care about AI readiness right now?
I mean, it kind of goes back to that other question, but it really is like the market's not going to wait on us. Surprisingly, with most products, you would see where a company puts out a product, market responds to it, and then the producers respond to that market demand. We're seeing changes to these models and these offerings so rapid that sometimes the market doesn't even have a chance to respond. It's just coming out so quickly, and people are always ready for the next iteration and the next iteration. So it really is about how quickly this is advancing, how quickly people are having to come up with frameworks around it and the
Hmm.
usage policies. And it's such a new field that everybody's trying to jump into it. There's different companies putting a lot of different money behind it. There's homegrown opportunities, there's open source opportunities, just the wide range of availability. I mean, nowadays we really only have a couple of online commerce websites, but back in the day, in the heyday and early days of the internet, there were a lot of different type of online catalogs. Uh, that's where we are right now with AI. So many people are producing it. So many people are coming out with different ideas or leveraging one model to create a different product. It's exciting, but scary at the same
Yeah,
time.
both. Um, I said I wasn't going to ask him bonus questions, but I am. I read through them here pretty quick,
What you
and
got?
I think I'm going to combine two questions into one here. So
Okay.
the two, so I'm going to ask both questions at the same time, and I think we'll talk about those. So, what's the cost of getting AI wrong versus getting it right? And then, if we had one piece of advice to give about AI readiness, what would it?
So I think the cost of getting it wrong is obviously monetary,
Hmm.
but it can also be perception. It
That's what I
could
was going to say. I
be,
think mental is the worst.
well, mental perception, but I think it can also be market perception as well, like how people view you as a company. If you go put
Oh
out
yeah,
this,
yeah.
let's just say you put out a chat bot on your website that uses AI. Well, if something's not right in the scheduling, for example, people can show up for appointments that they booked with the AI model, but that didn't get corresponded to the actual, calendar, or the calendar put it in for the next year or something like that. And so then that's now affecting your community image and things like that. So there's a lot of benefit, but there's also a lot of risk as well.
And I was thinking about it from the CEO aspect of it. When I said mental, I meant if, like we talked about, if you don't get the framework right, the foundation, if you don't have the policy in place, and you put it in place now, and it fails for you, now some owners and some business owners will say AI doesn't work,
Right, right. They don't want to try it again.
and it's not that. Now you try to deter other people from using it, and it's not the AI. Like you said, it's what you're feeding it.
Absolutely.
It can only amplify what you feed it. Is what we talked about. Um, One piece of advice about AI readiness, what would it be?
Get started. Get
Yes,
started.
research, 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 and if you have access to some sort of AI, like you said earlier, you're using it already, whether you know it or not. A lot of places you call, you're talking to an AI, you don't even realize it.
Google has
So
it built in now. When you do a Google search, oh, my phone just activated because I thought I was talking to it. But it does. It's built into the web searches already.
yeah, that'd be my thing. Research on your own, and then try to apply it to figure out what could it do to help your company grow. I think that's something you asked somebody a long time ago. We were sitting in front of a customer and they asked, well, how could I use AI? And you said, well, what would you like it to do? And they told you, go right there. That's your
There you
answer.
go. Yeah, like
Yeah,
and that's what's fun about what we do. Like, we are technology consultants. We help customers, and what can you do? Give us a call today. That's the cheesy answer of what we're trying to do here is facilitate those conversations with our customers. But it is kind of funny when customers are like, "Well, I don't know how I would do it." Okay, let's take an example. And then they rattle off. I'm like, you just did half the work. Like, that's
yeah.
it. And so if all I'm doing is facilitating these conversations, fantastic. That's what we want to do, is facilitate these conversations to get the brain juices flowing. Because again, I know I said it, I'll sound like a broken record. It's exciting times. It really is. And
It
figuring
is.
out how you can implement it in your company, it needs to be your homework day in, day out.
And like you said, it's only scary if you don't get educated on it. Once you learn more about it, you understand it more, then it's less scary.
And don't get left behind.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, cool. That was a fun little stump the chump. Good job.
I don't know who the chump was though.
We are. We both are.
Plural chumps.